Okay, so with that presentation, I will not try to force you to ST2110, because if you are using it, you know the benefits. If you are not using it, maybe after that presentation, you will think about it. Few things about Netgear, because we are quite on the market this year. It's, yeah, maybe I will show that slide. This year we have anniversary, 30 years on the market, delivering network equipment, network switches. And AV market is a big part of Netgear equipment since last 10 years. So yeah, and this is not only thing that we are celebrating, because last year we certified, and we've been certified by 500 companies from AV market and companies, vendors for AV products. And many of those companies have dedicated profile in our switches. If you already know Netgear switches, you know that in graphical user interface we have dedicated profiles for protocols, also for vendors. Sometimes one profile can support many vendors. That's why we don't have 500 profiles, we have dozens of profiles. So, yeah. Last year we moved our headquarters. This is still American company, this is still California, this is still San Jose, but and that's not intentional. We are moved closer to Cisco, so it's easier to switch from Cisco to Netgear. It's only 3 minutes. And even if you are in the Cisco building Q, it's 1 minute by foot. Last year, Television Republika, #1 informational television in Poland. New studio, new building, all new. Also network infrastructure new, 100% on Netgear. Polsat, all new broadcast vans on Netgear. Polish television broadcast vans, new one on Netgear. So we are trying to do our best to show our strengths and fight with the biggest one on the market, because we all know that Cisco is the strongest in big companies like Czech Television or Telewizja Polska. So few projects from last year. Those projects are on those slides because it was easy access for pictures and description, but we have quite hundreds of projects from AV market. NASA testing center using Netgear switches, IBC, most exhibitors using Netgear switches. Next one. Conference center, burn up and build in Netgear switches. Company responsible for sport transmissions, live transmissions on Netgear. Japanese TV on Netgear. Next conference, Bern Expo on Netgear. Next year, FIFA 2026, Hawkeye system responsible for tracking players and balls. When you see that ball hitting line, this is a Hawkeye system. Many cameras around the field, tracking in real time behavior of players and ball. And this system is powered by Netgear switches. Yeah, quite nice implementation. Dubai, RTS, more than hundreds of end units. This installation was made in Poland and sent to Dubai. for event, and that setup took about 30 minutes. So it's quite fast to set up Netgear switches for such a huge implementation, huge project. Yeah, core switches, if you look for a core switch, it's here. Yeah. A couple of more pictures, pictures showing Netgear switches in live projects. ST2110, for instance, still ST2110. Lots of concerts, lots of live events. Yeah, Marilyn Manson concert, the chassis with Netgear switches. Panasonic Curious, Netgear is the main partner for networking for data infrastructure, which Panasonic require. This is quite nice. And also you can find that information on their website, that we are a partner for that solution, Curious. Yeah, so, do I have something more? Yeah, and that's it. That's it. So why Netgear was so successful? To be comfortable with networking on basic level, you have to finish, for instance, Certified Cisco Network Associate. This program took about 2 years. You can see that this program, you can learn, you can take knowledge to pass the exam from 58 books. Obviously, you don't have to read all of them, but you see that this program is time-consuming. But it will not give you knowledge to configure switches to NDI, to Dante, or ST2110. To be able to work with those protocols, you should read the book, Quality of Service Designing and Configuration. It's about next 1,000 pages, and still you will not be comfortable with that knowledge, because that knowledge requires practice, many years of practice. And Netgear know that this is a problem, because AV engineers don't have a time to spend their time to configure switches, because switch is an only highway. When we go to vacation, we don't think about highways, we think about locations, buildings, maybe car used to travel to that location, but not highway. So the highway must be perfect, highway must be comfortable to drive, but this is not the case when we set up ST2110. So you already know, if you are dealing with ST2110, you already know limitation of SDI. Cable length, flexibility, those are the most biggest disadvantages. And I'm sure that you already know advantages of ST2110. Still, flexibility, cable length, and this cable can be 300 meters without losing quality, frame rate, etc. You already know that ST2110, those are 4 separate channels, streams. One is a synchronization. Oh, do I have a slide for it? Yeah. Synchronization. The one is for video, one is for sound, and one is for metadata like subtitles. Those 4 separated streams can be managed, can be pushed to other devices. So we have intercompatibility between devices, between endpoints. We can separate stream like video or sound from rest of it. Many benefits. Answer to future needs. Why? ST2110 is not a competition for SDI. its natural successor. This same company invented SDI, this same company invented ST2110. So this is the very important message, that this is not competitor trying to kill SDI. This is something new from the same company. This company is called Society of Motion Company, organization, Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers, SEMPTE. Okay, yeah, processing maybe a little bit, we will skip that. Yeah, I will try to show you how quickly can we set up a studio, broadcasting studio, on a Netgear switch. Okay. Of course, all of those switches, those two switches can be managed directly by IP address. Every of our switch has couple of graphical user interface. It's obviously it has command line interface, very similar to Cisco. You will see it. It has graphical user interface dedicated, I would say, for IT guys, where you have to know everything about multicast, DHCP, STP, all of that. We have also dedicated AV graphical user interface for AV guys. And all of that can be managed through Engage controller. This Engage controller, which is on the screen right now, it's free application for Mac or Windows. This controller doesn't replace those graphical user interface or command line interface. It helps you configure the whole infrastructure, but things like multicast routing or spanning tree protocol, you can still manage by command line interface or different interfaces able built in that switch. So we have two switches with ST2110 support. Small thing, one more thing. Those switches are, I put it only IP address inside. There is nothing more, no configuration. So what you see is made by default configuration, made this topology. It's discovered automatically by Engage. And small thing like this, topology, I can click physical view of that topology, and I can see the speed of the ports used to connect both of those switches. I can click STP show, and this Engage will show me alternative standby links. Also, I can see through Engage EGMP snooping query which switch take this role to change traffic from broadcast or unicast to multicast. So yeah, small thing, but nice. Let's move to studio setup. So by default, like all managed switches, we have VLAN number 1 already in the switch, 1 and 2. Let's choose profile. Those are those profiles which we talked about before. And what we have to do is to find audio video SEMPTE profile. Next. VLAN maybe 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, zrobimy tak. Well. Let's choose color to red. Next. Okay, and we have switch 1. Let's leave the second switch because I want to show you a little bit more about port number 10 used for communication between those two switches. Okay, and let's click apply. We don't have to set up routing and DHCP protocol for that VLAN, for that profile, and that's it. It's done. So more talking than doing. We can go to that switch. Let's change the names of those switches because we will. Okay, it will be user-friendly for now. And let's check which switch has those ports. No, not this one. Port assignment. Oh, this one. So SW switch number 1 has those ports. Yes. I can go to switch number 1, configuration tab, and I'm inside the switch. This is not the global configuration for the infrastructure. This is local for the switch, and I see those ports configured with this profile. I don't know if you see it, but under the ports we have LEDs, and those LEDs are colored with VLAN color, and also this is very helpful. And we have 3 ports in red. If you want to see how big configuration is for that protocol, we can emulate. We can emulate terminal. Yeah, and now we can do some show run and see what was configured on the switch by clicking apply and adding this profile to those ports. So we have section responsible for quality of service, for PTP clocks, for queuing. We have configuration of that port added to ST2110 profile, and it's all done automatically. But it doesn't mean that you can transport this configuration to Cisco switch and it will work also on Cisco, because many of those things are enabled, many of those things which we are not seeing in that configuration are enabled by default. Adding VLAN in Netgear switch enable multicast for that switch, enable STP for that switch, enable lots of things for that ports, which are not enabled by default in Cisco. So, yeah, as you can see, this is command line interface. Using Engage, we are not using magic. We are using comments. We are sending those comments to that switch. This configuration can be exported to TXT file. It's not some encrypted file or hashed file which you are unable to diagnose. Okay, so we will try to expand this studio to the next switch, and this is very simple. We can click on switch number 2, add additional ports, apply, yeah, nothing more, that's it, and it's done. Why I made some space between switch number 1 and switch number 2, why I didn't done it at the beginning. As you can see, I'm not touching uplink ports, fiber optic ports. Why? Because all on those ports is done automatically. Why it's so important? Those are 2 switches, so it's very simple configuration. I have ST2110 on port number 1 and port number 2. But imagine that we have, between those 2 switches, we have next 20 switches. Netgear switches, and we don't need to configure those switches for ST110, but those switches will be transport for that traffic. I don't have to configure those switches. What I have to do is to enable ST2110 on left switch, right switch, and everything in the middle is done automatically. Quite nice. What is more? Netgear is a huge partner of SEMPTE organization. This profile is not our imagination. This profile is made with cooperation with SEMPTE organization, and you have a warranty that it will work. If you have a problem with SEMPTE, if you have a problem with ST2110, nothing more. There's a tab, support, where you can, by clicking download file, you can download all configuration from controller, all configuration from switches, logs file, send it to our support team. You have dedicated support. This is L3 support. This is not phone call when someone asks you to turn on the switch or plug in cable. Those guys are dedicated only for Pro AV market, for broadcasting, and they're using command line interface more often than graphical user interface. They will tell you what's going on, what's wrong, what's good. That's it. So we are responsible for your implementation. You are not alone. We don't force you to do some next Cisco certification. We can do it for you even more. Yeah, but this is engaged. I showed you only one profile, SEMPTE profile, but still I can add additional profiles, like for instance, Dante on this same switch. I will use a little bit different color, and we will add some additional ports. Apply. Yes. Now we'll try to enable routing, and maybe without the DHCP server, we'll do it on switch number 1. So the controller asks us to enable to point which switch will be as a router, which switch will be as DHCP server. I don't want to do a DHCP server right now, and which switch will do the query job. Apply. Go to routing VLAN page. What I have to do is only to add IP address. And that's it. Done. We can go back to configuration page, switch number 1, and we will see that profile Dante. Let's go to network profiles. We will see that profile here with IP address, which was previously configured. Also, from that place, I can add additional ports to Dante without exploring all the infrastructure. You know, you saw ST2110 configuration, very simple variant, very simple setup, but you can also go to that switch and add additional information about priority clocks, grandmaster, which one will be grandmaster, which one will be slave. It also can be done through Engage. It also can be done through command line interface or web GUI interface. But manual for those switches is about 1,500 pages, so I'm not sure if you will be happy to study it. It can be done simpler through that interface. This controller can be used to manage backups, management interfaces. You can, by one click, you can, let's go to devices maintenance. By one click, you can back up all of those switches, startup configs in one place. After that, with one click, you can restore all configuration of all infrastructure. This controller is an application. You can export what we've done here right now to other controller, to your friend, keeping the same application on his laptop. We can grant access for guests. We can grant access for different admins. It's quite powerful. Of course, it's a big beginning for that application because it has it's only 2 years old, but it will get more and more functionality. This year on ISE Barcelona will present hardware version of that controller. I will show you how it looks like because we have a picture. And that's it. You are keeping configuration constant, clear, with that application, very simple. So yeah, we've done this, with few clicks, with few seconds. This uplink, why this uplink doesn't require configuration? Because we have implemented two things, auto trunk and auto lock. Between two switches, Netgear switches, when switch number A see on the different side switch number 2, by automatically he creates link aggregation if it's able, if we have more than one physical link, and it puts those ports in uplink mode, in trunk mode. So you don't have to configure uplinks at all because everything is done automatically. What is more, and Netgear is the only company, networking company, having that technology, this thing, it's eGMP+. This is something more than standard eGMP. Why? You know already that in network infrastructure, there is something like a query. This policeman, networking policeman, decide which stream goes to which end device. So if I want stream, video stream, for instance, I have NDI implemented, I want a video stream from the source, I have to ask query for that stream. Query give me that stream, and what is the problem? The query has to get that stream to pass it down to the end device. The problem is, like on the screen, when we have the red or pink VLAN, the source and the destination is on the same switch. But with standard eGMP query, this stream has to go to query to go back to that switch. So you have to calculate uplink throughput to serve that stream on the local switch, because this stream has to go to query. Netgear in AV switches has something like eGMP+. Yes, query is still on the switch, the central switch, but only to process metadata. Video stream doesn't go to the main switch with query. This video stream is closed on the local switch. So you don't have to calculate uplinks. You don't have to think about where is the query, because the query process only metadata. And this is something huge for NDI, for all video application. where we want to close this video stream on local switch. We don't want to pass this video stream to central switch. And Netgear, as only one company, has it. About ST2110 switches, we have a couple of those. Those are two switches presented at the beginning last year, but now we have switches with 8 ports, multi-gigabit PoE. We have switches with no trick ports. We have switches with 100 gig ports. We have switches with 25 gig ports. All of them support ST2110. Those two switches also support ST2110. Those are those on the top. And we are ready to leave it today and give you for testing purpose. I said those switches support ST2110, but when we talk about AV portfolio, this is the whole portfolio from Netgear for AV Dante, like Dante and the IAS67. So we have quite a lot of switches dedicated only for AV market. This is the Engage controller hardware version. It's not only be controller for switches, it also be NMOS controller, AVB, SDVOE, PTP clock. It can be DNS server, DHCP server, and much, much more. It will be able to communicate with cloud, so we'll be able to manage this infrastructure by cloud. And much, much more, because this platform will be open. You will be able to install additional applications. And this one will be presented in ISE Barcelona. It will be able to work in high availability mode. The chassis, as you can see, is able to connect each other to create one rack mount unit, let's say, a chassis. About warranty support and license firmware manuals. Warranty, limited lifetime warranty like Cisco. But we are giving for free next business day, not replacement, but shipment. So if you will have failed device, you can come up with ticket and we will send you next business day working unit. Support, free of charge. You can call us, you can raise a ticket with problem. We will deal with it. License, no licensing. AVB support, ST2110 support, all in price. So buying this switch, one part number, you have all, everything in the box with rack mount kits, with all software required to support your applications. Firmware. You have access to firmware. You don't have to have login password account to download firmware. Manuals. Also, by default, without login and password, you have access to our documentation. During 2 years, we had new 49 firmware releases, mainly because of AV market, mainly because of profiles, mainly because of profiles changes, because AV part in this switch is a huge part, and Catalyst 1300 series during that time had only 11 updates. None of them was referring AV market. So it's huge difference. And it shows how much effort do we put to make those switches easy to configure, usable in seconds. I wasn't able to do that with Arista, that the firmware check, because I don't have access, I don't have a license. You know, switch supporting ST2110, the hardware is the one cost and the license is the second cost. The license costs the same as a switch. So during next 10 years, you are paying only one fee for the switch and that's it. Nothing more. I encourage you to use our training sample center, also free of charge. You can log in, you can create an account, you will have AV certification, you will have, what else? You will have Dante certification, you will have SDVOE certification, broadcast certification on ST2110, plenty of trainings, all of them free of charge. This is not 1 hour training. Every training it's about 3-4 hours. I have even one movie to show you how it looks like. This is about ST2110. Yeah, so free of charge. Okay, and from my side, that's it. If you have a question.
Actually, even the video was about PTP, so my question is also about PTP. Those switches are ST2110, so they definitely have to support PTP version 2. But do all the AV switches support it, and also do they support it over SFP as well?
Yeah.
I'm not ranking, so in the rank that should be. But if I connect your switches to some other part of infrastructure, would I be able to set it up manually?
Yes. Good question. So all of our switches support PTP version 2. The difference between that switch and switches from M4250 series is that this switch also supports Grandmaster Croc. As series M4250 doesn't support Grandmaster Croc. It can work as a transparent mode, but not as a clock mode, synchronizing all the infrastructure. You can configure Cisco with Netgear manually. They will talk each other and it will work. The disadvantages of that solution will be that our profiles do something different. We are to make, for instance, Dante with AAS on the same switch. You are doing some re-engineering of priorities of PTP to work them together on the one switch. So probably our configuration, when you take a look on inside the switch, will be different, little bit different what Audinate recommends. So yeah, probably it will require some tests to check if it works correctly, but you know, everything is possible on that switch manually. For instance, even VLANs, you can configure port by using switch port mode access or switch port mode trunk. Also, you can this port configure by VLAN participation include one VLAN tagging one. So couple of ways to configure ports. This is very important. Those platforms are very flexible. It will work with HP, with Cisco, whatever you want. Juniper, no problem.
V tom případě bych poděkoval Přemkovi za jeho prezentaci. Mám ještě trošku času, když toho času už moc není, ale pár minut tady ještě je. Určitě to můžete využít k tomu, že jak Michal z Haivisionu, tak Přemek ještě s kolegou Pavlem Kozlovským z Netgearu tady jsou přítomní, takže si můžete dát venku kafe, zeptat si ještě na nějaké detaily. Určitě bych vám chtěl jenom říct, že pokud byste měli zájem si otestovat ať už nějaké encodery, decodery z té předchozí prezentace, ať už to bylo Makito nebo tady Falcon, nebo jakýkoliv řešení od Haivisionu, my jako firma Disk Systems disponujeme demo jednotkama, takže vám jsme schopni je předvést nebo i zapůjčit na nějaký test. Pokud byste měli zájem si otestovat třeba tady ty switche té řady 4350, které zde máme k dispozici, klidně se buď to na mě nebo na Dušana obraťte, můžeme taky vlastně s váma domluvit zapůjčení a můžete si to u vás otestovat. Takže pokud nemáte už někdo žádnou otázku, tím pádem bych... Jo, ještě jedna idea.
This IT interface, I don't need that microphone.
Okay.
This IT interface, yeah, as you can see, when we click index, you can see that this switch has a quite a lot of functionality. When we go to multicast, you have multicast routing, you have SPF, RIP, so this switch can work as a AV switch, as a broadcast switch, but also in standard IT applications. Many of those functionality will not configure by Engage, like for instance L2 loop protection or broadcast term control or multicast term control. We are not able to do it from Engage side, but we can do it manually from this interface. And yeah, this switch has quite a lot of functionality. This functionality is quite big, but Engage helps us do that configuration. That's very, very hard to understand configuration for many of administrators very quickly. This is what I've said about VLAN configuration. So we have two tabs. VLAN trunking configuration, where we have admin mode for auto trunk mode enabled, but it can be disabled. But also we have oh yeah, this one. Standard configuration, let's say market style, and as you can see, auto trunk mode works. So profiles, add those profiles to uplinks. Yeah. That's it.
Ještě děkuji za ukázku, že kdyby se nějaký ajťák chtěl vyřádit, tak se může ponořit do úplně detailní konfigurace. Tak ještě jednou děkuji Přemkovi za jeho prezentaci, děkuji vám za účast. Ještě tady ale pozor, někdo se hlásí.
How it's configured on Netgear?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I will be able from this side. Yeah. So we by default the one switch will start to go as a grandmaster. The second one will go as a slave. We don't have priority for the switch because by default all of them have value 128. I'm sure that in your infrastructure you will use external PTP clock from GPS, and what you have to do is only to add to that VLAN this external clock. If you will have higher priority on your external clock, all infrastructure will set up to your grandmaster, and our switches will work as a slave. So it's also automatically done from switch perspective. You can also use grandmaster on Netgear, but we already have some feedback from the market that in large infrastructure it's not enough. you have to have external certified, synchronized with GPS PTP. Is it answer for your question? So as you can see on the screen, we have information that port number 10 works as a slave to Grandmaster on the different switch. Do we have something interesting here? Yes, we have some statistics on that communication between switches, but yeah, it's done automatically. From market feedback, we know that sometimes they are changing priorities to decide which one will be Grandmaster if external clock will die, but this is it, that's it.
Tak byla to opravdu poslední otázka, to neukončuju na potřetí. Tak vím, že byla poslední otázka. Tak ještě jednou děkuji vám za vaši účast, děkuji Technické akademii České televize, že nám umožnila tuto akci a doufám, že ta akce vám přinesla nějaké nové podněty, nějaké nové informace a protože máme ještě nějaké občerstvení, máme nějaký čas, určitě využijte ten čas, abyste se ještě zeptali přímo u zdroje na to, co vás bude zajímat. Tak děkuji vám moc a prohlašuji dnešní masterclass za ukončený. Naschledanou.
Thank you.